Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Nitai Gaura Haribol 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Premanande Haribol Hare Krishna. Yogi Prabhu, du könntest euch auch eine deutsche Bhagavad Gita holen, du musst es nicht übersetzen, sondern einfach mitlesen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, bevor wir... Nee, machen wir später, wir lesen erst den Vers. So, wir sind im 18. Kapitel. Today I speak in English and Yogi will translate into German. So anyone who doesn't speak German, who speaks preferably German, he can come to him and he translates. So we're reading from the 18th chapter of Srimad-Bhagavad Gita, text 68, chapter entitled Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. Ya idang paramanguyang mat bhaktesvabidasyati bhakting mai parankritva mam evaishyat yasangshayah. Ya idang paramanguyang mat bhaktesvabidasyati bhakting mai parankritva mam evaishyat yasangshayah. Ya idang paramanguyang mat bhaktesvabidasyati bhakting mai parankritva mam evaishyat yasangshayah. Vielen Dank. Dankeschön. Prabhus, wollt ihr auch chanten? Den Vers. Ya idang paramanguyang mat bhaktesvabidasyati bhakting mai parankritva mam evaishyat yasangshayah. Ya idang paramanguyang mat bhaktesvabidasyati Ladies? Ya idang paramanguyang mat bhaktesvabidasyati bhakting mai parankritva mam evaishyat yasangshayah. Okay, dann lesen wir die Wort-für-Wort-Übersetzung. Yaha, anyone who. Idam, this. Paramam, most. Guyam, confidential secret. Mat, of mine. Bhakteshu, amongst devotees. Abhitashyati, explains. Bhaktim, devotional service. Mai, unto me. Param, transcendental. Kritva, doing. Mam, unto me. Eva, certainly. Eshyati, comes. Asangshayah, without doubt. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. Purport. Generally, it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst the devotees only. For those who are not devotees will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Ja, wer ist das jetzt? Ich sage zu denen. Ja? Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ich warte noch kurz, oder? Ich warte noch kurz, bis du bitte. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is a subject matter for the devotees only and not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Pre Vanshakalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Trinadapi Sunichena Taror Iva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oh, Rosemarie Mataji ist auch noch dazu gekommen. Nice, Jai. You understand all English over there? Yeah, okay, nice. Okay. So, first of all, I beg for your blessings that Krishna used me as an instrument also today to deliver the message here. And it's no accident that I'm supposed to read this verse today and talk about it, because we are right in the preparing phase for the Sankirtan book marathon, Srila Prabhupada's book marathon. As you can see, we are stacking the books right now in the book stable. There are 2 vans and they get equipped with tons of transcendental literature, and we try to make also stacks to give many at once. And this all is because of a great plan behind. Yeah, it's sometimes Indian devotees, they say, why are you are printing so many books, why are you trying to convince others? Yeah, like also as Krishna explains here, you should only describe this knowledge to the devotees. Yeah, why do you preach so much? And this is actually very unique and extraordinary in our sampradaya, in our disciplic succession, that in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, which is one of the 4 authoritative sampradayas or disciplic successions, which is descending from Krishna to Lord Brahma. The other one is from Shiva coming down. There's another one from the 4 Kumaras and another one from Lakshmi Devi, which are all authorized. But in our sampradaya, the hidden avatar appeared, Lord Chaitanya, the golden avatar. Yeah, we see him on this picture here on the back. Unfortunately, you don't see it so nicely, but I'm sure you saw it already. And there's the Panchatattva dancing. Yeah, this is also the mantra we chant every time before we do kirtan, sometimes also to start japa, because it's said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his direct expansions in the Panchatattva, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit and Shivas, they are all different personalities, very closely related to the Supreme Lord or different energies from him. So these all 5 personalities came for a reason to deliver the sinful, fallen conditioned souls in this Kali Yuga. So welcome to Saraswati Mataji and Ala Mataji. And Brian Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Jai. Now we're complete. Yeah, so I was just explaining that our Sampradaya is very unique. And this firstly came to my realization because I didn't know any other. Yeah, I was at a ritualistic retreat near Hanover, which was hosted by the Sri Sampradaya, which is very most well known in India, and most of the most prominent temples, especially in South India, are run by the Sri Sampradaya. So it's very, very traditional, also very bona fide, and the devotees initiated in this disciplic succession are very, very paka and very. Whew. There was one speaker, and he was so on the point and clear. But one thing was missing when I was there. Yeah, there was no chanting of the holy names. Yeah, they recited the Vishnu Sahasranam, the 1000 names of Vishnu. They were chanting Govinda and different Vaishnava songs, but they didn't have the culture or the ritualistic, religious, spiritual means of chanting the holy names of God like we have. And this is very, very unique, not only for the 4 Sampradayas, but for the whole civilization out there, because what Lord Chaitanya gave us with the holy name is really remarkable and really, really special. It's not that this mantra didn't exist before. It existed since time immemorial, but since we are in Kali Yuga, there is a special empowerment coming through this mantra. It's said that all the other mantras are included in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And in his most influential scripture about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu recites a shloka from the Naradiya Purana, where Narada, a son of Brahma, is saying that in this Kali Yuga there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way than chanting the holy names, chanting the holy names, chanting the holy names. And when Lord Gauranga, he was initiated in a Mayavadi Sampradaya. So interestingly, he was initiated in that Sampradaya. And later, his other god brothers, they were complaining, why do you not associate with us? Yeah, why do you not study? We hear you all the time singing and dancing and talking like a madman on the street. Yeah, this is not a proper behavior for a sannyasi. Yeah, you shouldn't do like this. Why are you not studying? Yeah, and Lord Chaitanya, he was very, very humble when he also, like his direct disciples, they were begging, please go to this happening. There was a big gathering of this Mayavadi sannyasis, and because he was convinced, he went to this meeting, and he took a seat next to the foot bathing area. So he was very humble. He didn't show it off for the other sannyasis, but he took a seat at a very, from material point of view, dirty place. And they invited him to come, and they challenged him. Why are you doing like this? Why are you chanting? Why are you rolling on the floor? Why are you singing and dancing? This is not the proper behavior. And I wanted to read this part because it's very beautiful, where Lord Chaitanya is explaining why this is so important. So this leader of the sannyasis, Prakashananda Saraswati, then said, I understand that your name is Sri Krishna Chaitanya. You are a disciple of Sri Keshava Bharati, and therefore you are glorious. You belong to our Shankara Sampradaya and live in our village, Varanasi. Why then do you not associate with us? Why is it that you avoid even seeing us? You are a sannyasi. Why then do you indulge in chanting and dancing, engaging in your Sankirtan movement in the company of fanatics? Meditation and the study of Vedanta are the sole duties of a sannyasi. Why do you abandon these to dance with fanatics? You look as brilliant as if you were Narayan himself. Will you kindly explain the reason that you have adopted the behavior of lower class people? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied to Prakashananda Saraswati, My dear sir, kindly hear the reason. My spiritual master considered me a fool, and therefore he chastised me. You are a fool, he said. You are not qualified to study Vedanta philosophy, and therefore you must always chant the holy name of Krishna. This is the essence of all mantras or Vedic hymns. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. In this age of Kali, there is no religious principle other than the chanting of the holy name, which is the essence of all Vedic hymns. This is the purport of all scriptures. After describing the potency of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, my spiritual master taught me another verse, advising me to always keep it within my throat. And there's this verse I was quoting. For spiritual progress in this age of Kali, there is no alternative, there is no alternative, there is no alternative to the holy name, the holy name, the holy name of the Lord. Since I received this order from my spiritual master, I always chant the holy name. But I thought that by chanting and chanting the holy name, I had been bewildered. While chanting the holy name of the Lord in pure ecstasy, I lose myself, and thus I laugh, cry, dance, and sing just like a madman. Collecting my patience, therefore, I began to consider that chanting the holy name of Krishna had covered all my spiritual knowledge. I saw that I had become mad by chanting the holy name, and I immediately submitted this at the lotus feet of my spiritual master. My dear Lord, what kind of mantra have you given me? I have become mad simply by chanting this Mahamantra. Chanting the holy name in ecstasy causes me to dance, laugh, and cry. When my spiritual master heard all this, he smiled and then began to speak. It is the nature of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna. Religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation are known as the 4 goals of life. But before love of Godhead, the 5th and highest goal, these appear as insignificant as straw in the street. Ich glaube, wir brauchen einen neuen Übersetzer. Ich habe Yogi ausgebrannt. Entschuldigung. Allah, can you also translate from English into German? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Yogi, so far. Sorry. For a devotee who has actually developed bhav, the pleasure derived from dharma, artha, karma, and moksha, appears like a drop in the presence of the sea. The conclusion of all revealed scriptures is that one should awaken his dormant love of Godhead. You are greatly fortunate to have already done so. It is a characteristic of love of Godhead that by nature it induces transcendental symptoms in one's body and makes one more and more greedy to achieve the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. When one actually develops love of Godhead, he naturally sometimes cries, sometimes laughs, sometimes chants, and sometimes runs here and there, just like a madman. It is very good, my dear child, that you have attained the supreme goal of life by developing love of Godhead. Thus you have pleased me very much, and I am very much obliged to you. Continue dancing, chanting, and performing Sankirtan in association with devotees. Furthermore, go out and preach the value of chanting Krishna Nama, for by this process you will be able to deliver all fallen souls. Saying this, my spiritual master taught me a verse from Srimad-Bhagavatam. It is the essence of all the Bhagavatam's instructions. Therefore, he recited this verse again and again. When a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, cries, becomes agitated, and chants just like a madman, not caring for outsiders. I firmly believe in these words of my spiritual master, and therefore I always chant the holy name of the Lord, alone and in the association of devotees. That holy name of Lord Krishna sometimes causes me to chant and dance, and therefore I chant and dance. Please do not think that I intentionally do it. I do it automatically. Compared to the ocean of transcendental bliss that one tastes by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the pleasure derived from impersonal Brahman realization is like the shallow water in a canal. My dear Lord, O Master of the universe, since I have directly seen you, my transcendental bliss has taken the shape of a great ocean. Being situated in that ocean, I now realize all other so-called happiness to be like the water contained in the hoofprint of a calf. After hearing Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the Mayavadi sannyasis were moved. Their minds changed, and thus they spoke with pleasing words. Dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what you have said is all true. Only one who is favored by fortune attains love of Godhead. Dear sir, there is no objection to your being a great devotee of Lord Krishna. Everyone is satisfied with this. Yeah. So, our movement is very simple. We try to chant the holy name of Krishna and we try to pass it on to others. And we do it actively by performing Nam Sankirtan. That's the original meaning of Sankirtan, to glorify the Lord, Kirtan, in the assembly of other Vaishnava devotees, Sankirtan, congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So this is the powerful process of this age, and it's very simple. That's why it's perfectly matching for this age, because people nowadays have a short duration of life. They have problems with concentration and remembrance. Yeah, they have very poor knowledge. So singing and dancing is something that everyone can take up. And it is the nectar and the bliss we are always searching for. Yeah, everyone wants to be happy, and we can practically experience that by chanting the holy name in association of others, especially on the street, there's a great nectar to be found. It makes very, very much happy. And not only that there may be a material sense pleasure or a temporary happiness, it also makes us advance in spiritual realization. Yeah, when we chant the holy name, we also become more and more aware of our spiritual identity. Yeah, it's also said that only by performing japa, not congregational chanting, probably also, but by japa especially, we can become aware of our true identity as a spiritual soul, of our true relationship with Krishna, our Siddha Swarup, our true form, our service in the spiritual world. Akila Prabhu, he's now at the altar, and during lunch prasadam he was explaining to Bhakta stars how we can distribute better, and Akila Prabhu said, only listen more carefully to the holy name. The whole secret is just to listen to the holy name. It's not even something we really have to do actively with a great endeavor on the outside surface. It said only by listening to the holy name we can make all the advancement. Especially Krishna's holy names, but furthermore also Krishna Katha is considered very, very valuable. It's a great blessing for all of us to sit in a Srimad-Bhagavatam lecture and to hear about Krishna. Kripa Sindhu Prabhu in the morning, he explained in his lecture how very, very rare it is a chance for a human being to associate with devotees, to come in contact with the Supreme Lord. What to say of having the association of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada or a spiritual master. So we should put this again and again into our mind and in our consciousness, that it's very, very special that we are already here and in contact with Krishna consciousness, with devotees, that we know about Krishna. There are so many living entities out there, just because of their misfortune of being inimical to the Lord since time immemorial, totally forgetful about their true identity, totally trapped in their false identification of being an Indian, a German, a man, a woman, an old-aged, a young man, whatsoever. This is all material covering. And when we come from a material background, we might have so many ideas about what life is all about and what we should do out of our life, study, take a job, have a family, have a house, or travel to this country, do that. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great acharya in our disciplic succession, he says, there's nothing real in this world except the jiva, the spirit soul, and the holy name. Everything else is illusion. Everything else is Maya. And today also having a breakfast. No, it was yesterday lunch. Gopal said he is the gardener here, the chef of the Simhachalam garden. He chants 64 rounds a day, and since 8 years. And he was also stressing this point. We have to prepare now for the moment that we die. That's the essence of all the teachings. Prepare yourself. Life is short. You can make it this lifetime back to Godhead. Why not? If you come, the more knowledge you have about it, the more you think, actually, why should I waste my time longer? I'm aware I have these plans and this and that, but the more the idea sneaks in, the more you know, the more you want to give everything, you want to use every opportunity. And then he says, you should be very serious about your chanting. You should be very serious to hear every syllable and to increase your numbers of rounds as well. Prabhupada said minimum 16, but Bhaktisiddhanta, his level of devotional service to be qualified to become his disciple was 64 rounds. It was not so much before Srila Prabhupada, just because the people were more pious in India, they could maybe take it up, but in the Western world where Prabhupada was speaking here, the people, the men were so disturbed. Prabhupada, we cannot chant 64 rounds. We cannot, what shall we do? And then Prabhupada said, okay, you have to chant 32 rounds. And they still said, no, it's impossible. We cannot handle. The whole day is then full of chanting or this and that. And he understood he has to lower it. And it's said that every acharya, he can change the rules and regulations and the process according to time, place, and circumstances. Yeah, similar like the God incarnates or appears as an avatar in different times to establish religious principles, and in some age, big yajna ceremonies are recommended to please the Lord, in others, Ashtanga yoga process, in others, deity worship. Lord Chaitanya appeared in this age because we are so fallen and gave us such a simple process. But still, we cannot chant 64 rounds. So Srila Prabhupada adjusted again and said, okay, 60 rounds, 16 rounds. Yeah, 4 regulative principles and 16 rounds. And then you make it back. Yeah. Yeah, but as Kripa Sindhu Prabhu also explained in the morning, there's also a way how to attract mercy more strong. And this is if you become a preacher. Yeah, a preacher in Krishna consciousness is most dear to Krishna. And there we find ourselves at these points in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, where Krishna first says, one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, pure devotional service, and at the end he will come back to me. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours, there's no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. Yeah, and also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is also saying this again, Yare dekataha kara Krishna upadesh, amara agyaya guru hanatara desh. You just go to everyone. There's a very interesting point, I also prepared it, where a Vedic Brahmana, he invited Lord Chaitanya and he fed him, he gave him everything that he needed, and then he was so in ecstasy, he said, but he had a family, and then he said, please take me with you. Yeah, I want to only do Hare Krishna Madhu Shrestha Prabhu. Please, I only want to be in your association. Please just take me with you. And he said, no. You have a family. Yeah, your duty, your karma, your dharma is right now to serve here. But, and that was the interesting thing. I want to read some verses because it's very nice. Don't speak like that again. Better to remain at home and chant the holy name of Krishna always. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Shri Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad-Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. If you follow this instruction, your materialistic life at home will not obstruct your spiritual advancement. Indeed, if you follow these regulative principles, we will again meet here, or rather, you will never lose my company. At whosever house Sri Chaitanya accepted his alms by taking prasadam, he would convert the dwellers to his Sankirtan movement and advise them just as he advised the Brahmana named Kurma. Yeah, so he also wants that we become spiritual masters. And what does it mean? We have to become pure. Yeah? A spiritual master can control his mind, his tongue, his belly, his genitals. And a person who can control these things, he is able to accept disciples all over the world just by this. The whole process of Krishna consciousness is about controlling the senses and the mind and engage them in Krishna consciousness. And when we are able to do this, and the best is by preaching, then we are also not only be able to control our own mind and senses, but we are also doing something in helping the others to control their mind and senses. And this is so dear to Krishna. Yeah, it's said that this is a very, wie sagt man vertraulich? Confidential. Ja, wie war das? Cool. Dankeschön, Rosmarie. Kannst du so gut Englisch? Echt? Wusste ich gar nicht. Confidential. Yeah, it's very confidential service. And because the verse is saying that pure devotional service is guaranteed, I also wanted to read from the book Treasures of the Brihad Mridanga. There is a nice chapter I found where the many benefits of book distribution are explained. And before I read about the benefits of book distribution, I wanted to explain why the book distribution is also considered Sankirtan. Yeah, there is also a very nice verse and purport in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, because we could say, okay, when we distribute books, we are not chanting in ecstasy with the people and rolling on the floor and laughing and singing and dancing. We're talking about philosophy and we're giving them a book. So why is this on the same level? Yeah. And it has something to do with our disciplic succession. Yeah, we know that we are also considered Rupa Nugas, so we are followers of Rupa Goswami. There were 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, and they were instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally, like one Rupa Goswami 10 days in Prayag, and this is the point I want to read now, where he enthused him with spiritual energy and instructions how to write books. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he only left us the Shikshastaka prayers, 8 prayers, and he said, this is the essence. Like similar like the Hare Krishna mantra, just chant the Hare Krishna mantra, everything will be revealed. Everything also connected with the process of taking up the Hare Krishna mantra, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, yeah, like the whole process of the revelation of Krishna consciousness and the revelation of your true identity by chanting Hare Krishna is contained in these 8 prayers. But he also wanted that his disciples, his followers, write literature about this philosophy. That in order for people who may have a very philosophical mind, or in order also to give something like a manual when you cross over stumbling blocks and chanting Hare Krishna, that you have some philosophy to understand. And this is the conversation between Rupa Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now it's speaking about Rupa and Sanatan. Srila Rupa and Sanatan Goswami beg a little food from the houses of Brahmanas. Giving up all kinds of material enjoyment, they take only some dry bread and fried chickpeas. They carry only water pots and they wear torn quilts. They always chant the holy names of Krishna and discuss his pastimes. In great jubilation they also dance. They engage almost 24 hours daily in rendering service to the Lord. They usually sleep only an hour and a half, and some days, when they continuously chant the Lord's holy name, they do not sleep at all. Sometimes they write transcendental literatures about devotional service, and sometimes they hear about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and spend their time thinking about the Lord. When the personal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would hear of the activities of Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis, they would say, "What is wonderful for a person who has been granted the Lord's mercy?" Srila Rupa Goswami has personally spoken about the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his auspicious introduction to his book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which we read every morning, the Nectar of Devotion. Although I am the lowest of men and have no knowledge, the inspiration to write transcendental literatures about devotional service has been mercifully bestowed upon me. Therefore, I am offering my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has given me the chance to write these books. For 10 days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Prayag and instructed Rupa Goswami, empowering him with the necessary potency. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Rupa, please listen to me. It is not possible to describe devotional service completely. Therefore, I'm just trying to give you a synopsis of the symptoms of devotional service. The ocean of the transcendental mellows of devotional service is so big that no one can estimate its length and breadth. However, just to help you taste it, I am describing but one drop." And now I want to go into a purport. And it's a purport mix of Bhaktisiddhanta's purports and Srila Prabhupada. Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami had no fixed residence. They stayed beneath a tree for one day only and wrote huge volumes of transcendental literature. They not only wrote books but chanted, danced, discussed Krishna and remembered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Thus they executed devotional service. In Vrindavan there are Prakrita Sahajyas who say that writing books or even touching books is taboo. For them, devotional service means being relieved from these activities. Whenever they are asked to hear a recitation of Vedic literature, they refuse, saying, what business do we have reading or hearing transcendental literatures? They are meant for neophytes. They pose themselves as too elevated to exert energy for reading, writing, and hearing. However, pure devotees under the guidance of Srila Rupa Goswami reject this Sahajya philosophy. It is certainly not good to write literature for money or reputation, but to write books and publish them for the enlightenment of the general populace is real service to the Lord. That was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's opinion, and he specifically told his disciples to write books. He actually preferred to publish books rather than establish temples. Temple construction is meant for the general populace and neophyte devotees, but the business of advanced and empowered devotees is to write books, publish them, and distribute them widely. According to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, distributing literature is like playing on a great mridanga. Consequently, we always request members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to publish as many books as possible and distribute them widely throughout the world. By thus following in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami, one can become a Rupa Nuga devotee. Yeah, so very clear words and very powerful words. And this book is called Treasures of the Brihat Mridanga. I can really recommend. It's very, very nectarian. And I want to read first a letter from Srila Prabhupada to his German disciples at the 6th May of 1977. Be assured that there is no more direct way to preach than to distribute Krishna conscious books. Whoever gets a book is benefited. If he reads the book, he is benefited still more. Or if he gives the book to someone else for reading, both he and the other person are benefited. Even if one does not read the book, but simply holds it and sees it, he is benefited. If he simply gives small donation towards the work of Krishna consciousness, he is benefited. And anyone who distributes these transcendental literatures, he is also benefited. Therefore, Sankirtana is the prime benediction for the age. Yeah. And now I want to read something from Indradyumna Maharaj, and I want to tell you a small story before. When I was in Paris visiting Janananda Maharaj, he's also a very long-term devotee, sannyasi, spiritual master, and book distributor. And he sticks very much, and he is right now also leading the marathon in France. And he said to me, in the beginning days, all the devotees who were full-time engaged in preaching, in distributing books or in Harinam, in Sankirtan, they had a traveling party in England, and he said he was in the same van with Mahavishnu Swami. So they were a party and they were driving around, and they had a split day where in the beginning they were distributing books, then they were doing Harinam together and distributing magazines together. And at the end, they were reading the books together. And they said that all the devotees who were in this very intense program, directly connected and intensely spreading this mission, they all became later very great personalities or spiritual masters themselves. Yeah, and for example, Indradyumna Maharaj, he was long-term distributing books in France. Yeah, Mahavishnu Swami, everyone knows. Yeah, Janananda Maharaj now also. And Shivaram Maharaj, he said, a quote from Shivaram Maharaj is that you can judge a devotee by in how many marathons he participated. That's a quote from Shivaram Maharaj. And now I want to read from Indradyumna Maharaj. I distributed books in France for 12 years, from 1971 to 1983. How much I enjoyed that service. When I look back on those years, I see how important they were in my development in Krishna consciousness. Most of what I use in my service as a preacher and spiritual master, I learned while distributing books for all those years. If I ever went back to book distribution, I would have no regrets, and I know exactly which villages I would go to back in France. Book distribution is definitely the best training a devotee gets. One remains detached from material life by constantly seeing the temporary, miserable nature of the material world, while at the same time developing his faith in Krishna consciousness by daily witnessing the extraordinary mercy of Lord Chaitanya upon the fallen conditioned souls. And by having to defeat opposing arguments and to persuade others to take up spiritual life, one becomes a capable preacher. Sometimes I long for the simple life of being a book distributor, but then I see my present responsibilities as an opportunity to inspire others to distribute books and obtain the same benefits I had. Yeah, so here I wanted to end. And even though Akila Prabhu is now just starting the Gaura Arati, I would like to open for a comment or a question. Would you like to ask something or comment something? Oh, hier hat jemand eine Frage aufgeschrieben. 4 questions.
Wir haben heute eine kleine Bhagavad Gita Runde gehabt mit Stars und da sind ein paar Fragen dazu gekommen.
Maybe you like to speak in English?
Besser in Deutsch.
Okay.
Ist das okay?
Ja.
Ja. Also es wird natürlich ganz viel in der Bhagavad Gita gesagt von Gottgeweihte. Ich versuche immer noch so ein bisschen zu verstehen, also ich glaube an Gott und ich versuche auch mich dahin zu bewegen, dass ich für Gott, alles für Gott tue. Bin ich denn ein gewisser Gottgeweihter, weil ich eben diesen Glauben habe und diesen Willen, aber ich bin natürlich nicht wie ihr in diesem Sinne. Und das ist meine Frage, weil da steht nämlich auch, die Bhagavad Gita am besten nur den Gottgeweihten vorlegen oder eben zeigen. Und das stellt in mir natürlich so ein bisschen Fragen aus, darf ich die Bhagavad Gita überhaupt lesen? Spaßmäßig gemeint natürlich, aber wann ist man ein Gottgeweihter? Das interessiert mich halt so in diesem Sinne.
So he's asking at which point one is considered a devotee, and how is it to be understood, like in this verse where it said Bhagavad Gita should only explain to the devotees. And I would say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he considered a person who is chanting one time Krishna already at the top as the topmost devotee, because it said in order to chant the holy name is not a small thing. Yeah, if you decide to steadily chant the holy name, you must have had gone to all the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies in your past lives, or you have obtained a great mercy. And it's not so much about that one is only to be a devotee who is a very pure devotee. There are pure devotees, and we consider ourselves all a devotee, but even a very pure devotee would never say he's a devotee. He's an aspiring devotee. Yeah, so if you take a humble position, you would always say, I'm not yet a devotee. Yeah, but others may feel, yes, you are definitely a devotee because you're sitting here, you're accepting Krishna Prasad, you're a friend of Krishna. You may not have developed full faith, but as is explained, there are different stages of devotional developments, Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari, and then there is the faith gradually developing. Yeah, a Kanishta Adhikari, he has no scriptural reference and has a very tiny amount of faith in Krishna and the revealed scriptures. And Madhyam Adhikari also has developed already faith, but he may not give all the counter arguments or is very well versed in the scriptures, whereas an Uttama Adhikari has full faith and he knows all the scriptural evidences and everything by heart. Yeah, so we may be a Kanishta Adhikari, but that's not a problem. Bhagavad Gita is also saying that if you are already on the way to Krishna and you are following, but even when you are still committing great sins, you must be considered as a great devotee, and you should the blame should not be put on you because you're already standing under the shower. And also Prabhupada is saying here, Bhagavad Gita should be Shishi Prala Lakshmina Singadev Bhagavan Ki Jai, should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this, you can say, is at last the case. You are accepting.
Yes, I accept.
Yeah. So, and this is just a shelter that the person, that you don't come into an argument in a situation, or the person is not offending Krishna and the devotees. That's why you don't reveal. You could give the holy name or prasadam or give a book for his purification, but you should not discuss the topics to someone who has not accepted the Supreme Personality of God, or is in a humble state of mind. Okay?
Thank you.
Maybe someone else something, otherwise we go over to the Gauda Arati. Okay, Srimad-Bhagavad Gita ki, Gauda Bhakta Vrinda ki.